When they were both in church, they called for peace for the whole country. What would you like to tell them, since they are the two top candidates who are leading in this election? What would be your message to these two candidates?
The good luck we have in relation to these two is that they are not new to each other.
Yes.
These are people
Yes.
who have worked there before together.
Yes.
They know this. So the competition among them should be ideological, an opportunity to execute and implement their convictions. And that, if the results, which is actually determined by the direction of the citizenship of this country, the will of the citizens should be given the first priority. And actually, I don't think even why one cannot work through whoever wins, because the human mind, the way it is made, is such that you cannot stop. If you are a good politician, you will always have new avenues and new ideas to develop. Even if you gave 80 or 100% of your current convictions to whoever takes over, by the time 5 years are gone, you'll have built another stock, which actually you can write another manifesto and be able to move. So we should not hold even our ideas to ourselves, hoping that one day we'll become the president. In case you don't become, then that good idea is lost. So we should be very friendly, have a race, When we are watching the Kenyans in the trucks running,
Yes.
we always feel like that Ethiopian is just about, that other one is just about to get, we feel emotion. But once the game is over, whoever touches the line, we take that and say, okay, it just happened. They ran, and nobody is. That should be the case. We are in this because that is the way it is done. That's the way it is stipulated in the Constitution.
Right.
We should actually stick only to that. These two people are not strangers to each other. There's nothing to be emotional about it.
Okay.
They should really focus on how to get Kenya from the current one status to the next level of development. We long to get to that place. Yeah, Kenyans really want to get out of where they are to move to the next level and be a good example.
Elder, these two leaders, Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto, are commanding 50% of the electorate, both of them. Should we be looking forward to a handshake? Would you advise the country, the two leaders, to go that direction?
You see, the issue here, we have to be very careful because the Constitution allows for competitive election. That is in our Constitution. That is what we should be growing. Elective, competitive election. Now, if we go, the handshake is extremely important, very important tool. Once you have lost your competitor, that becomes the handshake position. You take up the front, work together, give whoever so on an opportunity to do what the Constitution requires of him. That by itself is an handshake. What messes up the concept of handshake, if it's not well handled, it can be commercialized. People make deals. Now you start making deals that is not provided for in the Constitution. But accept. If you accept that so and so has won, as they do in sports, they impress each other. Soccer can be very rough. Rugby can be very rough. But immediately the final whistle is blown, that's the end of it, and the guys are friends. That's the way it should be in our politics.
But don't you think there's some people, there's some political experts who, and some of the observers, who are telling us that the peace that we are experiencing today in this, especially this voting process and what we have seen the last couple of days is out of the handshake of 2018. Do you believe we should have that quite often in the country?
What we are trying to say here, what they did is what they ought to have been doing immediately one loses to the other. That should be the national behavior. What happens is they refused initially to follow the Constitution. Just gone behind over there, realized that it was important. Also, the writer of the Constitution knew what they were doing. Okay? But now we refuse to obey the headmaster. Then we come and tell the headmaster, now we deserve a chicken because we are wiser, we have made the reconciliation.
Yes.
You did not have to break the law first to begin with.
Yes.
So there is no credit in that approach. The approach is today, now, tomorrow, when it is pronounced here, let them behave in a handshake system, because that is what the Constitution calls for. They should actually embrace each other and respect the will of the people. So that actually, if they did that, the animosity associated with political competition in this country will go down. And what happens is that by so doing, the Kenyan voter will start becoming more critical in evaluating the candidate for what they think is necessary, other than going for favor, Niwetu, I like. That should not be the case. And that way, that's how our democracy can advance. But if we don't embrace the final results, okay, or we try to craft other things which are not in the Constitution, we risk the country, and we should not go that way.
Elder, do you think power has been concentrated to one central position such that that is why we have this, everyone is, going for the top position? Do you think this, this kind of power should be distributed so that the election stop being such an emotive, activity in our country?
Oh, definitely. Something, when it comes, the laws of these countries are well drawn. The Constitution is a beautiful piece, no question about it. Actually, it does not deserve any form of modifications in the near future, not in the next 50 years. No, it is not. We have not even implemented a tenth of it. So the issue is, there is a bit of laxity. We don't want to do what the Constitution says, and we leave so much power in an office. And what has been known in Africa, is that he who calls the shot can very easily enslave everybody else.